Hey tubes. I'm not even well lit. Gosh. Jonathan was wrong here. I got a bright light in my face. Um just in bed with my cat. God. Can you see him? He's right where my head is. Anyway, I just had a thought that's kind of scary, and I think everyone should be informed. This is this is so bad. Ah! Anyway, otherwise it'd just be a dark video. I don't know. Anyway, blah 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 blah. So I just had a thought. All these people with cognitive dissonance, they are literally incapable of thinking, which is most people. Like how their minds operate, because they can't actually take any of the things that they think about and cross-reference them off each other, or because they'll nothing matches up, so they'll go nuts. So literally, they can't think. They are incapable of thought, and that's terrifying to me. Like they swallow the information, then they regurgitate it, and that's it. Like they're not actually thinking about anything, and that's the majority of people. So, how everything's by design. We've been socially constructed to be stupid, and this is it. We literally, how people operate is they don't think. They just regurgitate what they've been told. Like there's no thought process. It's just regurgitating information. They can't actually think. They're just accessing their memory. Isn't that effed up? It's sad. It's like, because I might actually end up working. Called off the morning because the weather, and my boss is like, might work now. Derp derp derp. I don't care. I can use the money for now. But yeah, it's just, really think about it. Like when you try to discuss things with these people, you get the same answer every time, and they can't think outside of that one answer. They're baffled. If you ask for them to elaborate or explain what something means, or like like, what do you mean by this? Like, what is how are you using that phrase? How are you using this? What does this mean to you? How does this hold up against that? Yada yada yada. Nothing. They just get frustrated and like, oh, you're just being derp derp, or like, oh, don't be stupid, or whatever, etc., etc. We're living in a world where the vast majority of people don't know how to think. You go to school and you don't think. You just swallow information and then you regurgitate it to pass the test. There's no actual thinking going on. There's no thinking going on in schools. None at all. You're just swallowing information and spitting it back out to pass the test. So at no point, especially nowadays, because they're getting rid of all the arts, and children don't stare at a tablet all day, and they don't do anything. They don't think ever. They don't do anything creative. We're like 2 generations deep now of an entire society that is incapable of thought. We can't change these people's minds. They're not capable of it. Isn't that scary? It's terrifying. Literally, these people could have something right in their face, and they just will not be able to accept it because their brain is literally not capable of having its gears turn. Like nothing will go. They'll just, all their thinking consists of cross-reference to their memory, to things that they memorize, and if it doesn't match up, you're wrong. It's like the whole world's like, it's like how they say, oh, people with the autism are so smart. No, they're not. I'm saying this from personal experience. I can't have a conversation with my son, and it breaks my heart. You never hear him talk. You never hear me talk about him because it's not great. It makes me really, 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 really sad that I can't have a conversation with him. It's just, he just prattles on about like whatever video game he's playing in at the time, and if I try to discuss anything with him, he immediately goes back to like what he's to what he memorized. There's no thought process. There's just things that he memorized, and that's what everyone's like now. That's why there's all this like, oh, autism is the next step in evolution. What is it? The new Predator movie, where the predators came to Earth to steal our autism, so they could make themselves autistic to be better. What? Someone made a great joke about weaponizing autism in 4chan and all that. You could wrap that one up yourself. But yeah, like, no. Like, being able to memorize information better does not make you a better human being. It makes you a less capable human being, because you're not thinking. You're not creating. You're not doing anything other than just being a sponge, being a piece of paper, being a recording. Is there use for people like that? Yeah. That's there's a lot of historians, before everyone was writing stuff down. That's how they, if they weren't memorizing this stuff, we wouldn't have access to it. So we wouldn't have all the versions of the Torah that we have. We wouldn't have the old stories of what Satan and his knights were up to. All that would be lost if it wasn't for those people who are able to just memorize information and regurgitate it. Yes, they have a use. If you have an entire society of that, you have an entire society of lemmings, of things, of sponges, of recording devices. That's not, you're not a whole person if you can't think. If you can't process and I see it all the time. I'll try to talk to my dad about something, and you'll see him go blank, and he'll just cross-reference what I'm saying against his memorized information. And since it is not the exact same as his memorized information, he can't think outside of that. I mean, granted, he's almost 70 or whatever, but still, it's not. It's a microcosm of like what we see everywhere. Anytime I try to talk. Some people might humor me, or just people think like John's crazy, and I don't want to get into this with them. But like, the fact is that I very, 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 very rarely do people actually have questions of like, ask me to like explain something, or want to get into it. I would love to. I can't all day. I can, unlike someone trying to explain how gravity works, I could explain in depth how buoyancy works. I could explain in depth how all these things work, and how it's just really basic physics. But when you think you're living on a spinning ball in an infinite plane of nothingness, things get a little complicated. When you realize this is it, and it's flat and it's stationary, it's not all that complicated. That's up, that's down. If something's denser, it falls. The end. But no, gravity is the curvature of a space, and blah, 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 blah. Still theory. Do you know what's not a theory? Buoyancy. It's a proven fact. Anyway. Just a horrifying, terrible thought that this is truly the end, and that unless, barring some literal divine inspiration or a divine intervention, these people are gonna not figure it out. It's sad. I hope you can see my cat. He's so cute. You see my little handsome man over there somewhere? Anyway, that's it. Yeah. Tell me what you think. Do you feel the same? Have you noticed that we live in a society of people that don't act, that are incapable of thought? It's just like, it's just emotional projection and regurgitating information you have memorized. That's it. That's the extent. I don't know. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day, and God bless you.